What's up guys, this is Scher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be making a full review for the school banner Romancing Festival Selma that brings Selma, that is a damage dealer with good sustain and HP and BP recoveries. Ginny, a full Taunt tank with access to counter and self-healing. Will, a Scrum Guard user that can Regen the party and also buff STR. Well, let's start talking about Selma. She gives a name to the banner. She has very good defense status with 93% for endurance and will. She even has double arrows for will. Dexterity is 117%, more than enough. Not the highest we have seen, but it won't make much difference. Agility is 107%, higher than normal for this type of attackers. Well, she even has some good charisma, and the other status don't matter much, so I believe she has very good status distribution. Moving for the first passive, we have Pierce Energy 1. Increases all allies' pierce attacks damage by 30%. And here we need to do discussion. First of all, we just got Fired Up 7 that increases damage potential by 40% for a character. For a character. Here, she's increasing 30% to the whole party. Imagine if all your characters in your party had this type of passive. It will become 150% for everyone, because each one will buffing the another. This passive is really strong and it's coming from the future. JP released this, I think, 3 months ago. We are behind JP by at least 10 months. That means that we are getting this way sooner. So, it's very nice. They give this passive to her because she didn't have enough to offer, in my opinion. So, buffing the character to allow it to be better was needed. So 30% to herself and everyone else, very good. And not just that, she also gets 1 BP by the end of turn. Such a broken passive. Moving on, we have High Battle Spirit. When landing a weak attack, she will grant herself Heat Up, increasing her damage potential by 10% for the whole fight. This can happen 5 times per battle. If you are using her on remembrance, all attacks will be weak. But if you are using her on other content, you'll probably be using her for pierce damage as well, so this will happen the same way. And when she gets attacked by an attack that will cause resist, she will grant herself defense up that will decrease damage taken by 10% for the whole fight and can stack up to 5 times. This is good because it's easier to resist if you are equipping stuff versus a boss. You don't even need to have your full equipment to resist everything, but just focus on the main element of the enemy. If it attacks multiple times, by turn 3 you probably already triggered this 5 stacks. In the last one, when she is attacked, she will reduce damage taken by 25%, and on start of a turn, she also triggers Heat Up, increasing her damage potential for the whole fight by 10%. So just from Heat Ups, she will have 100% damage increase, and that will probably happen by turn 5. Alongside Pierce Energy, increasing Pierce damage for everyone by 30, she has 130% damage potential for long fights. And she already decreases damage by 25 and even more with that defense ups. So very good offensively and defensively. Moving on for skills, we have Hurling Knives. This is a free AoE attack with E power and 6 mod. That's just like normal attack, but spread out to all enemies. Very good because she can use it anytime. Skill number 2, Balloon Pierce. It's a 6 BP single target attack with S power that also recovers HP by around 1.2 thousand. It is both pierce and slash damage. It's a very good skill for the cost, and she will not need to be healed that often unless you place her on an aggro position. She can actually work as a off tank to just take a little more damage than other people because she has lots of defensive capabilities, and she can self heal just fine with 6 BP cost. Since she gets 4 per turn, she can actually use this many times, but I don't think this is her main gameplay. It is based on the third skill called Piercing Illusion. For 9 BP, you have a single target attack with triple S power, and it will recover HP by very small effect to all surviving allies. That should be around 220. Will also give everyone BP for 1 point. So, even herself. That means that in the end, this skill only costs 8 BP. For a triple S attack with 2 effects, very nice. So, you can actually use this every 2 turns since she is a 4 BP per turn character. I don't think she can become a real BP battery. 1 BP every 2 turns is not game changing. Well, right now the game has characters that can offer more than this, but it's still good. And her HP recover cannot be treated as a main HP recover strategy, but if you have at least one other character with access to very small healings and you are using, for example, tortoise formation, I can say that it will work well. One good thing is that Selma is a pierce damage dealer, so if she's paired up with Matriarch, it will work well because she buffs Dexterity, Love, and Charisma, allowing Selma to heal more and do more damage. As for inheritance, Selma has access to Light Speed Plus from her first limited style. It's good because it buffs agility, but right now it's pretty hard to evade. Although she has very high base agility, it can happen in some fights. Then from her Platinum style, you have Stingray Plus that could be used to attack many times in a row, but I don't think that it's damage that will allow you to farm story mode. You still need help from someone else. From her Summer style, there is Floral Extravaganza that can instant kill. For the next Remembrance, this will be useful, but there are many alternatives for rapiers. Then from her latest style, we have Stab in the Back. That is a 1 BP skill with the Power and 13 mod that buffs her Dexterity by 25% on max level. Because it's cheap and buffs Dexterity, it's actually the best inheritance since it can be used for hard fights and helps by stacking something else besides Heat Up. In the end, she is a boss specialist, made to cycle between skill 1, or Stab in the Back, and Piercing Illusion. That's all she has to use and to offer. Giving BP to some characters will fix their rotations, and healing a little here will help because on rapiers we don't have that many characters that have access to healing. And in the end, I don't think she's a really good farmer, only 40% damage increase, and doesn't have access to very strong attacks to solo farm or contribute too much. Using Piercing Illusion on turn 1 and 3 would not matter too much. The character itself is strong if you miss it out on Chooser. Chooser is still the best pierce damage dealer for long fights. He is also capable of self-healing, self-buffing, self-BP recover, and also has access to defense up. Cloud Rejection is much better than what Selma can offer, but if you don't have Chooser, Selma can work for you even on normal challenges because of what else she offers. But I think this time it won't last for too long. We'll get stronger pierce damage dealers, but her place in Remembrance will stay. She's a very good character for Remembrance and a good investment if you are having difficulty there. But if you have already cleared all Remembrance battles so far, I don't think Selma will add too much to your party. But she is deserving of an SS Plus grade as a really strong character that offers utility to the party. But there's no future version of Selma released so far on JP, so what you see is what you get. Moving forward, Ginny, we have a club user with access to earth spells, but they are not so common, only by inheritance. I don't like Ginny's status distribution. She wanted to have lots of different things, and in the end she doesn't have anything where she really shines besides Will being on 100%. Her STR is just 105, not really good. Endurance is 80%, could have been better because she's a physical tank and not a magical one, but having higher Will is always better because you can avoid being inflicted with ailments or debuffs. Agility is kind of bad, but well, tanks usually have low agility anyway, and she has higher charisma because she can inflict charm and self-heal. Moving for passives, Poster Girl. On the start of a turn, she enters a Taunt stance of medium effect. It lasts for 4 turns, and this will stack, so each turn she will have one more stack to have very high chance of being directly attacked. She will also recover HP on the start of a turn by around 220. That's good because that will allow her to not rely too much on a dedicated healer healing her. And when she's directly attacked, she will reduce damage by 25% and counter-attack with Healing Beat. This is a very weak attack with only E power, and that will be used with rank 1, so very similar to a just normal attack, and heals very small effect that should be around 220%. It's a very weak counter strategy, especially now that we have characters like Bertrand, Global Axis style, that counters with an S power column attack that has attack and defense boost and stacks and becomes super strong, or even characters like the latest Human Male that has a very good counter as well. Even his Platinum style can counter, and in this case he counters with a skill that hits between 1 to 3 times, so damage is much better. But it seems like Ginny just went to the route where she wants to heal and not do damage. Then she also has a 25% chance, this time it's not a guarantee, the first is a guarantee, to decrease damage taken by under 25% and counter with Blast Heal. This is a C power attack that will heal for around 1.2 thousand. but only 25% of the time. That's not reliable, and the boss has to use many direct attacks to make this even work. Damage won't be that high anyway, she's just trying to self-heal to take more hits. Then the second passive is called Intrinsic Club 4. When attacking with clubs, damage increases by 20%. And when attacked by an attack that will cause resist, that means having plus 35 on a resist, decreases damage taken by 40% and has 37% chance to evade resist attacks. Then high protect tension, decreasing damage taken at all times by 30 and increasing damage potential by 20. So in the end, she has 40% damage increase, at least 30% damage reduction at all times, then another 40% if she's resisting, and another 25 if she is countering, and yet another 25% of the time when she counters with a second attack. Well, that's it. Lots of RNG layers on the character. Moving forward skills, we have Flurry Castella, 3BP recovery skill that does not spend LP. It has 5 times limit of use per battle. That's actually pretty good because of the power itself. This is gonna heal people from 0 to max, and she will also grant a Regen by 220 HP or on the end of turn that lasts for 3 turns. That's actually pretty nice. Reminds me a little of Chef Polka heal. Polka uses LP, and his heal will last for 5 turns. It's a little better, but her healing it's stronger. Now, we don't have many healers for clubs on Remembrance. We have Minstrel. If you do not have Minstrel, she's gonna help you more. Moving for the second, we have Impact Megaphone. This is a 6 VP full AoE attack that deals blunt damage and taunts the enemy with small effect. When you look for the cost, 6 VP for B power AoE, this is actually good, but we needed a offensive version of Ginny to take advantage of the damage itself, because you can use this skill like 2 times in a row, at least with this style. If we had better BP generation, this could help with farming, but it doesn't. And I don't think this is actually very useful unless, well, let's say you just started a fight and you wanted to cast Taunt on turn 1. But after 4 stacks of her own Taunt from passive, you should not use this skill anymore, because you already have 4 stacks of medium effect. Having another stack with small barely changes anything. So this may be better just when you're starting a fight and don't have many Taunts yet. Maybe use it on turn 1, turn 2, and forget about it. Then skill number 3 is Sweet Voice. For 90 BP, you have a triple S attack that hits for roll. So if you think about it, the roll area is just an extra because it has triple S power with 61 mod. It's good. And it carries a chance to inflict charm. The chance is high. And charm lasts for 4 turns. Her charisma is high, so this was made so that you can inflict charm on the enemies on Wuhan fight. But it's a little hard too, because you can actually use roll attack to hit only one enemy there. And the second enemy may be faster than Ginny and try to use instant kill before she can charm the another. So you also have to save all your BP in order to try to use just Ginny for this solution. Other characters were better, like Hannah, and even Sharon can fully evade. So just another way to deal with that situation. But for other content, it's just kind of very hard to use. We barely need charm outside of Remembrance. If only we had Word Tower again, maybe Ginny would have a time to shine. Now, as for Inheritance, she has lots of debuff options, but we have a big problem here. Her intelligence is only 71%. So you need to pair her up with Matriarch using Paean of Victory, because that buffs STR, Endurance, agility and intelligence, everything that she actually wants. So you will need extra help. And she can inherit from her on-scene style, Autumn Breeze. That's a 2BP skill that can debuff intelligence and may work in those situations, but I don't know. It's still something that relies on having intelligence buffs. And then you can also just go for Time and Tide for the next Remembrance, because this carries instant kill chance, and we will need instant kill on the next Remembrance. But there are alternatives as well, other Welfare and Platinum styles with access to instant kill. There's also her Perfector style, where we can get Happy Souvenir, because this will allow her to get more BP to nuke more often with her skill number 3, Sweet Voice. or you can just inherit either skill number 2 or 3. They can debuff either STR or intelligence by 30%, and you will use these skills in the place of your real nuke. Like I said, it will not matter too much because her damage is not even that great, so do what you want as utility instead of damage. Sadly, Ginny is a character that does not offer what we want. In Remembrance, we already have way too much support for clubs. We have like Token, we have Mask, we have Time, and these characters are already offering enough sustain. Ginny needed better damage, and she lacks, so there's not much reason to use the character unless you really want that tank capabilities and that recovery with Revive and Regen. Sadly, Ginny is a very easy to skip character, but just because she's pretty defensive and can work as a healer, I'll be giving a plain double S grade, but that will easily change in the future. Well, on JP, Ginny has another style, but sadly this is not good as well. And she has an attack that can debuff, an attack that can buff. She can increase blunt damage to the party and give effects via passives, but it's a character that doesn't offer much unless they change a lot on global. So if you don't like this version of Ginny, you can stop now and think about different characters. The last character is Will, and he is a club user with access to fire spells. Because of that, he is a hybrid and needs almost all status, and that kinda hurts his status distribution. He does not stand out in anything. Just 105 for his offensive status STR and intelligence, just 85 for his defensive status endurance and will, and dexterity is just average with agility being okay. Moving for passives, we have Healing Reverb. On the end of a turn, you have 25% chance to trigger a heal, about 220 for all surviving allies, and a cleanse effect. Well, I would much prefer a +1 BP or anything extra than cleansing, because if I really need to cleanse, I would prefer that on an active skill than a passive with a chance to trigger. Then the passive number 2 is called Blunt Energy 1. Increases blunt attacks to everyone in the party by 30%. That's just like Selma, right? Coming from the future, a very good passive that if we get more of it, will allow us to get very good damage increase just by having characters with the same passive. It also gives him 1 BP in the end of a turn. Again, I do believe this will start appearing more often because Saruin is now finally close, in my opinion, and he offers even more than this, so giving this type of passives to characters will allow people to think about summoning them. The last passive is called Scrum Guard. When all allies are surviving, reduces damage taken by 20%. Well, this is always good because if everyone is alive, you are decreasing damage, and this does not need to be used, it's always effective. That means that Will is just another Scrum Guard. We already have plenty of those like Jorg, Final Impress, Gustave, Jamie, Tsubaki. Will is probably one of the last interesting ones, well, save for Jorg. The other characters will offer more. And the bad thing about Will is that he does not have any damage reduction passive. His defenses are not that great. And his damage is only 30%. So he may actually die easier than most of the other Scrum Guard users. I mean, probably he's the easiest one to get killed. Moving for our skills, we have Cure Fire. This is a single target spell that will recover his HP by around 1000. So he can easily die, that's why they gave him this, so that he can self-heal most of the time. He does not do damage anyway, so just keep using Cure Fire. This will not increase his damage because it's not blunt, so damage is just non-existent here. The second skill is Fierce Strike. For 6 BP you have a full AoE attack that is also fast, that deals blunt damage with C power, and buffs all surviving allies STR by up to 25% on max level. He may not be doing much damage, but he will help someone else do more, so that's good. Moving for the third, we have Song of Souls. This is the same spell that you found on Eleanor. In Eleanor's case, it was not that good. Why? Because this is a spell that gives end of turn recover, about 220 on the end of every turn, and an attack boost increasing damage by 10% for 10 turns. In the case of Eleanor, it's just that we have way too many staff users that offer different ways of healing. In Club, well, not as much. This will be similar to what we do with Aunus for X Remembrance. We give him the shield that heals in the end of a turn just to increase our survivability. But if you have someone like Mask We already decreased damage taken in the party because of taunting and tanking, but Mask heals when he gets through overdrive, and that may be already enough healing and you may not need more, especially if you also have time. You already have all the healing you need for clubs. So this skill is just an extra, can be useful, especially if you are using the tortoise formation. Use it once, then start using Fierce Strike as much as possible and Cure Fire when you think that you are close to death. Now, as inheritance, he does have some options, but I don't know if they will work so well because he's not made for damage. But you can go from his UDX style and inherit Twin Swallow. This is an attack that hits 2 times and buffs SCR with each hit. Since he gets 4 BP per turn, he can do some damage himself. But if your better attacker is someone else in the party, he is still better off just buffing STR. And from his skill number 3, we have Blazing Blow. If we are fighting against multiple enemies on Remembrance, this may be good because it will give you heat up. So he will do more damage in longer fights, but he will not be able to use that Regen because he's using LP with each Blazing Blow use. I think this is more for something like Deathmaster Remembrance, especially in the future when we get stage 25. Other inheritances can be from his A style. Gongringer Plus can do enough damage if you want him to nuke. And from his first Platinum style there is Incineration that can be amplified, and it has instant kill chance. So you can use this in the next Remembrance battle. Well, we will have to instant kill enemies in order to easily finish the stage. That means that Will can have some utility in the future, but it's not really required. If you are not having difficulty with clubs, this may not be what you wanted. If you wanted a damage dealer, you won't find on Will. Will can also be used on real challenges, but for serious challenges where we have less options, because no one will be using Will for romancing stages where you can use any other character. But if you don't have many characters for Romancing SaGa 2, SaGa Frontier 2 options, maybe we will help. But in all honesty, well, there you can also find Global X Final Impress that has Imperial Shield, Scrum Guard, can also get inheritance with Christmas Moon for defense boost. And in that selection we also have Gustav that has his tank version that can inherit from the Let's Paint style to give lots of defense and offense. That means that if you have these options, he won't add anything to your party. He's just another character there for Remembrance. Very easy to skip in my opinion, and will only take an SS plus grade because of the weapon type. If it was another weapon type, the grade would be worse. But since it's club, well, some people may just use different types of support, but in the end it may not be what you want. Easily skippable, but can help some people around. And right now there's no future version of Will on JP, so what you see is what you get. Well, sadly, I don't think this offers enough. Now moving on to the banner image, is this banner worth summoning for? In my opinion, no. Yes, that's true. Because these characters were totally designed for Remembrance, and some people may say that summoning for Remembrance is worth because you get something there, you get currency to get the new weapons, right? But sometimes you are already on stage 18 with what you have, so summoning here just to clear a stage 2 levels higher, is it really worth? Or maybe you should wait for better styles that can be used in older content as well, because sometimes you just want Will, and you may have to spend 45,000 gems to get Will, or sometimes you just want Selma, and you can also get to the PT point in order to get the character. In my opinion, Ginny is the less interesting character, with Selma being the best one. Will just close, and Ginny totally skippable. I will be giving this banner a Bronze Plus award just because of the weapon types of the characters that are still kinda easier to get utility for Remembrance, but if they were just common weapons, that banner would be just much worse. Well, that's my opinion. I will be skipping this banner, but what is yours? Please stay here in the comment section, click the like button and leave a comment, please. It really helps the channel. I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.